of my people are on the sea.
On this place, economic stability and confidence.
To condemn this act, I propose to the lead of this minister and the
Give us access to our money.
As always said, there are two sides of people, the oppressors and the oppressed, and in between are the coward and the hypocrites. Which I
no matter how tough the challenge, how high the obstacles, we always overcome.
What Nigerians believe now is not about the government. Who can come and salvage us from where we are?
Representing people. Mr. President, my people are on the sea.
on this place, economic stability and confidence.
To condemn this act, I propose to the lead of this minister and the
Give us access to our money.
Good morning and welcome to Open Conversation on Atlantic Television Network. Open Conversation is the network's flagship political platform through which trending political news, events and stories are discussed with stakeholders. Through these conversations, ATN uses political talks about specific issues, party system and actor to explore hope and engender positive impact to the society. Today on Open Conversation, we'll look at the stories. First, Rivers State. APC sets up panel over Secretariat attack. And then on to Edo State. Rival party supporters clash at election tribunal. On 2027, Ghana's opposition victory signals end of APC's rule, PDP has to say. And then on National Assembly, reps to empower INEC to conduct presidential Guba debates. Still on 2027, Nigerians will choose their president, Atiku replies Akume. And on governance, anti-corruption war must begin from the top, Obasanjo has to say. We're open for advert placements, bookings and commercials. You can connect with us on all our ATN socials, Facebook and YouTube, Atlantic Television Network, Instagram and TikTok, Atlantic TV Network 1, and on Twitter, that is X, Atlantic TV Net. Watch us live on our website, www.atlanticnetwork.tv. We'll go on a short break. When we come back, we'll delve right into the show. Do not go away.
as always said, there are two sides of people, the oppressors and the oppressed, and in between are the coward and the hypocrites. Which I
No matter how tough the challenge, how high the obstacles, we always overcome.
What Nigerians believe now is not about the government. Who can come and salvage us from where we are?
Representing people. Mr. President, my people are on the sea.
on this place, economic stability and confidence.
To condemn this act, I propose to the lead of this minister and the
Give us access to our money.
As always said, there are two sides of people, the oppressors and the oppressed, and in between are the coward and the hypocrites. Which I
No matter how tough the challenge, how high the obstacles, we always overcome.
What Nigerians believe now is not about the government. Who can come and salvage us from where we are?
Representing people. Mr. President, my people are on the sea.
on this place, economic stability and confidence.
To condemn this act, I propose to the lead of this minister and the
Give us access to our money.
As always said, there are two sides of people.
Welcome back and thank you for staying with us. Joining me on Open Conversation this morning is a regular on Open Conversation and also a political analyst. He prides himself as advocate of the masses. Nze Nze. Nze, welcome and good morning.
Thank you very much. Good morning, Nigerians. Be hopeful. Nigeria get to be better one day.
And also joining me on Open Conversation is Chizi Nyomasla. Chizi Nyomasla is a regular on Open Conversation and he's the leader ICU group. Good morning, Chizi, and welcome.
Good morning, Doris. Good morning, Nigeria.
And also joining me on Open Conversation this morning for the first time is Michael Ray Gobadia, a public analyst. Good morning, Michael, and welcome.
Well, good morning. A whole lot of issues seems to be on the front burner in the country. And, well, anyway, You'll be diving deep into that, and let's see what it is.
Yeah, of course. And then we move on to Rivers State. All Progressive Congress in Rivers State has set up a panel of inquiry to investigate the bombing of the party secretariat that took place on the eve of the October 5 local government elections in Rivers State. Our correspondent completes the report.
The just concluded October 5th local government election in Rivers State was surrounded by controversies emanating from court orders from Federal High Court stopping INEC from releasing electoral material to RISIC. Also, a court order barring RISIC from going ahead with the poll. There was also a court order stopping the Nigerian Police Force and other security agencies from participating in the election. But the RISIC and the Rivers State government ignored these court orders and went ahead with the election. Recall that before the October 5th local government election, hoodlums had invaded the APC state secretariat at Aba Road in Port Harcourt with explosive and destroyed parts of the building and other valuable properties. However, the All Progressive Congress in Rivers State has resolved to set up a panel of inquiry to investigate the bombing of the party secretariat that took place on the eve of the local government election in Rivers State. State chairman of the party, Sir Tony Okocha, stressed that setting up the panel became necessary because the Rivers State Governor Fubara has failed to realize that good governance involved the protection of lives and properties of the citizens, having failed also to investigate the bombing attack of its party secretariat and the pulling down of the Rivers State House of Assembly quarters.
The Rivers State Police Command has been alerted to 2 explosions that rocked the city of Port Harcourt today, Saturday, October 5th, 2024. The first explosion was reported at the APC secretariat. Not the one that the first explosion was reported at the APC secretariat on Aba Road at approximately 3:00 a.m. A security guard reported hearing a loud bang, and upon investigation, observed 3 black Toyota Hilux vans speeding away from the scene. The explosion caused significant damage, destroying the gates and shattering the windows of the building of the All Progressive Congress secretariat. Additionally, the security building was set ablaze. I'm not the owner of it. The chairman of the panel, coincidentally, is the legal advisor of the party in this case. He is Barrister Kelechi Wezo. Others are Barrister Bezel Philip Samson. How about this list? Barrister Rex Woke. Barrister Danity.
Barrister Kelechi Wezo, chairman of the panel. Barrister Bethel Philip Samson, secretary. Barrister Darlington DK, member. Barrister Rex Mwogo, member. Honorable Abibo Tami, member. Honorable Dr. Teresa Chima, member. Engineer Dr. Eunice Jam, member. Prince A. Obene JP, member. Ambassador Vincent Bosse, member. The APC in Rivers State also took a swipe to commend efforts of President Bola Tinubu in returning Nigeria to her Eldorado following his business summits, visits and partnership with some foreign countries, adding that the strategy of the president is beginning to yield positive results. The party also commended President Bola Tinubu for the up and running of the Port Harcourt refinery and moves to revive the Warri and other refineries in Nigeria, calling on Nigerians to be patient with the presidents.
They also given a massive order to the refineries in Warri and Kaduna. And the second phase of the Coversation refinery. Isn't that a thing that still bring some joy?
Ajurunwa Samuel, ATM News, Port Harcourt.
Let me start with you, Nze. What do you make of this development?
You know, it is right that people say that when you are rejected, you don't reject yourself. The comment of APC chairman, Honorable Tony Okocha, that governor refused to include the bombing of APC secretariat in the inquiries that the panel he constituted needed to carry out. It's a good one that he himself, if the governor refused to include that incidents to the issues the panel needed to look into, he had to form his own. Because, you know, that day that thing happened, you asked me a question when I told you that that bombing had to come from within. And you needed to know which part of within I meant. And I left that with you and the rest of Nigerians who were watching to come up with. And now that he has formed, the APC, Rivers State has formed a panel of inquiry, it is advised that the panel chairman and members should be able to go with equity and be conscientious in their investigation. Because this is Nigeria. We all own this country, irrespective of your party affiliation. Nigeria belongs to all of us.
Okay.
Good enough. So someone can be in APC today and tomorrow be in PDP. So while in APC, do not kill PDP. Because tomorrow APC might come against you and you go to PDP. While in PDP, you don't kill Zenith Labour Party and all that. People should be able to play this game with clear mind, understanding that it is all about interest and perhaps what comes to one at a particular point in time. But now that he has formed the panel, let the chairman, in fact, let the panel be able to be holistic in their finding.
Right.
And when they are doing their finding, let them also communicate the masses, because when you don't tell us what you are doing, when we don't understand what you are doing, we may be forced to devise our own story and tell it the way we tell it. And sometimes when we tell it, we say that we are wrong because you did not communicate us. So let them keep Nigerians communicated. Let them keep the people in view of what they are doing, and God will help. If at the end of the day, anybody is indicted, let that person answer for it.
All right, very
because
well,
it is wrong for that office to be bombed on the very day of election. So let them be truthful about it, and whoever is indicted should face the law.
All right. Interestingly, you talked about, you made mention of what Tony Okocha said about the governor excluding the APC secretariat bombing when he set up the judicial panel of inquiry on the attack on the local government secretariats on October 7. And I recall that severally on this show, we've discussed this, the attack on October 7 and also the judicial panel of inquiry. Now, was this necessary in the first instance if, you know, the governor had set up that judicial panel of inquiry to include every other bombing that happened within that time frame?
Well, you said within time frame. I love that. But you look at it that what governor concentrated himself with was October 7. You recall that there was a bomb blast on October 5. There was a previous bomb blast in APP secretariat. There were a series of bomb blasts in the past.
Right.
But governor, in his wisdom, chose to concentrate on October 7.
Right.
And if peradventure Rivers people had to bring him back to look into all these ones, it is still possible that he can constitute a judicial panel of inquiry on those bombings and all that. But you see, APC, in their wisdom still, felt that governor have not really remembered them. Because if they said that governor failed to include October 5 bombing, they should also know that the APP session was bombed.
Right.
So, but APP have not come to say this or that. But I'm speaking as a Nigeria. I am not for APC, I'm not for APP, I'm not for PDP, I'm not for anybody, I'm for Nigerians.
All right,
and we should understand it from that angle. So now, if the governor refuses to, or I wouldn't say refuse because we've not really heard from him, but if the governor...
You said the governor in his wisdom,
yeah,
which you have
chose to concentrate on this October 7th.
Now, if I very quickly before I move on to the next person and say, now, is the governor of a set of people? Can the governor choose governance? Is governance selective? Is governance preferential? Because, I mean, from what you are saying the governor in his wisdom chose to investigate the attacks on these secretariats on October 7, but the ones that happened in his wisdom, he chose not to do. I have also asked questions about why is the governor not even asking questions around the incidents surrounding the bombing of the River State House of Assembly complex. I've asked these questions over and over again, but you're saying it's okay for the governor to be selective.
No, you asked a question.
If
governance is selective,
yes.
If governance is preferential, there are truths. And that is what I stand for.
All right.
There are truths that are not being said, but they happen.
Go ahead.
From time immemorial, from the history of mankind, governance has always been selective.
All right.
Yeah. Do you know why? Look at what happened in Egypt. You see the activities of...
Are we going to the Bible right now?
No. You know, I am a priest.
Then why do you...
I must include my culture. I must include my culture in whatever I do. If you look at the governance in Egypt, you see the level of selectivity in that place. If you see the governance even in Israel, I'm quoting ancient times.
Right.
And you look at the previous government in River State, it was selective. The government of Muhammad Buhari was selective when he was making all his appointments from his Fulani kinsmen. And the government of Tinubu today is selective because he's making most of his appointments from people from the southwest and not things like that. And nobody has killed him. So it wouldn't come to the time of Governor Sim Fubara and you say it would be.
All right, very well. I respect your opinion. Chizi, you are part of the APC, yes? Were you present at this meeting yesterday? And what is your view on this?
No, I wasn't present because I was waiting to go to this church harvest, and I didn't come forward. That's why I wasn't there.
Okay, go ahead.
He failed me.
The truth is this, for me, it's a bad omen. We're beginning to set very bad precedents because if governor is beginning to allow people set up the panel of inquiries on things that happens to them, it means that one day armed robbers will go and do something and set up panel of inquiry for themselves. Now you see, when somebody says allude to the fact that the government is becoming selective because the previous government have done that, it looks to me that we must continue on that trajectory because previous government have done that. I said here on television that I have a lot of expectation from Fubara. That's because he's gone through certain civil service protocol. And I think he should do that. All of those that has happened before the local government election. And I've said it here. It looks to me that he is doing that because he already knew those who did that. You know, in Isobo, the local government, the council...
local
government council, upon arrival at that scene, he said, I'm going to set up a panel of inquiry. I know those who didn't do it. My people didn't do it. Meaning that he knew those who do. So in the previous ones, he already knew that his people did it. And so he shouldn't set up a panel of inquiry. Look at this. If we have said that there are some limitations, even in the panel of inquiry set up by River State government, how about the limitations on the panel of inquiry set up by a party? What is the judicial? What is the bite? Is it like a dog without, a barking bulldog without a bite or something? What are we looking at? Are they just finding this thing to make up facts to proceed to the law enforcement agencies, or facts to go to court, or fast to hold? That's one thing that we must not allow. An establishment as important as the other arm of government, that's the legislative arm of government, that thing was bombed. And the governor refused, became selective, according to the, to constitute a panel of inquiry on that is a threat to an arm of government. And you know, let me tell you, without the legislative arm of government, we are running military government. That's all. Because if you look at the past military government we had the judiciary, and then we have the executive, we didn't have the legislature. So legislature is under threat. It looks like SIM is coming from that dictative impulse to begin to do things again like this. And he's allowed people to say, okay, let us set up a panel of inquiry. So APP will set up a panel of inquiry, and then the legislative will set up a panel of inquiry. No wonder he's not.
River State House of Assembly
has also done that. So everybody is trying to defend himself. Now, if we all have to defend ourselves, then there won't be need for a governor. If we all have to defend ourselves. So we have to be careful when things like this happens. It's pure a rude reminder to all of us that the governor has failed in taking his basic responsibility. And that was basic responsibility, the security of his citizens. And that is the basic responsibility of every government. And so the government has failed on doing that. So the party has taken it. What would the party do? They've been there. Probably some suspicions have been made. I was there, the day the election, and I went to that place and I saw the level of damage. Some of the ICT department is damaged. And so it looks like maybe those things are in the government house. If not, why not set up a panel of inquiry to the APP, to the APC, even if they were pseudo, even if they were shadowy kind of, but do it. Let us be that we are all going there now to question certain things, other than just feigning ignorant of the things that's been happening. And then just one day, you find out that there's a local government that's been bombed, and that local government is a target local government. They wanted to target the actors in that local government. All of a sudden, they set up a panel of inquiry, and you already knew those who did it and those who didn't do it. And you now started inviting those who were US and invited FCT minister from Abuja to come immediately. And then in 1 month, the panel of inquiry has concluded you want to implement. Now, these people will not implement this. I wish I was a member of this panel. I'll just tell you, let us write. I saw Sim coming to those places. Will he say no? After all, I saw him in IRISEC. So what is wrong? It's a governor that is going around to do one or two things, of course, including bombing, if he wants. So because anybody is a suspect, all of us who are Rivers people are suspects. But know this, like Nze rightly said, that I'm in APC does not make me less a Rivers person. Or that you are in PDP does not make you less a Rivers person. So we're first Rivers people, and he's not the governor of PDP or APP or that. He's the governor of Rivers State, and should take. Those are not the things you take for granted. It's like telling somebody that governor can be selective in giving the budget or releasing the money to my village. That's why we give governors chieftaincy title when they bring up development in that which is our right, and that which he is elected to do.
All right, Chizzy. Very quickly before I move on to Michael, I want to ask you now, this panel of inquiry that is being set up by the APC, does it have any legal backing? Now, Nigerian Constitution empowers certain persons or arms of government to set up panel of inquiry or judicial panel of inquiry or commission, as it were. But in this instance, the APC is setting up a panel of inquiry. Now, does it have any legal backing? Is this panel of inquiry legal?
I'm an APC person, and you wish that I speak.
That's why I asked you.
You wish that I speak from the bias angle of it. The answer is no.
All right.
But if you begin to define what is a panel of inquiry, it can just be reduced to, fact finding, trying to find out what has happened. Maybe you will use it, those facts you have found, to now attend. What would have happened is that
when they will use it, if that panel of inquiry or this panel of inquiry is deemed illegal, whatever is being whatever their report is, can it be admissible in court?
That's what I'm saying.
You see,
that's why I said, look, it may not be admissible because they are not a government agency.
So isn't this a mere exercise?
Now, see, but what that can serve them is that it can act as a fact to writing a petition to the government office. Now, you see, that's
as long as they can't quote it.
No. Look at what fact is. For instance, people hire independent
private investigators.
And what does the private investigator do? Is to give you facts that you are going to present before the judiciary or the security agencies.
All right.
That's to the extent it can go. But again, I think that is another root call on the governor to do what is needful. Because there's nothing they can do about it. It's just a mere
exercise
telling the world that the governor has failed in this aspect.
All right. Now, you've also given it political undertone or coloration to this whole thing. But then, before I get back to you, Chizzy, Michael, Kobadia, what do you make of this position by APC?
Well, anyway, it's, forgive my language, it's a bit funny.
Okay.
And the reason I say so, they are not the security agencies. The job of the security agencies are to do the investigation. So I wonder why APC will set up a panel. Why not let the law enforcement agencies do their job? It's there in our constitution. So I just feel, forgive me, I might sound different on this ground. I feel it's just a waste of money, a waste of time. And that's one thing that we keep doing over and over and over again. We keep playing politics with everything. Why not let the natural police, law enforcement agencies do their investigation? When they're done, if you're not satisfied with your findings, then you take a different turn. Why are you now already setting the agenda before the investigations are out? It doesn't make sense. You're now telling the Nigerian police force that you're doing their job on behalf of them. Have they come out with any findings as it concerns the investigation? Are they not doing the investigation as it stands? They are. So I wonder why the APC will go ahead and set up a panel of inquiry. Now, why I say it's politics gone too far, yes, we do understand. They pleaded with the governor to set up a committee, and it really baffles me that he did not. He only stood the ground of looking at the bombing that happened on the 7th or the 5th, rather than also looking, setting up an inquiry into this. But does that make any sense? We keep doing this, and we feel it's right. Let the law enforcement agencies do their job. When you're not satisfied with their finding, yeah, you go ahead. But not setting up, you're now judging a case that you're a part of the case. It doesn't make sense. So this is what we keep doing, and we'll put it in the coloration of, oh, he's right. Everybody can make an investigation at the end, bring that. Yes, we do understand. But if we keep having the disbelief of our usual system, of structures that are there to do their job, then there's no point to even having the governor, there's no point having the legislature, the executive, and every other arm of government. There's no point. So for me, I feel there's no need setting up a panel. Let the Nigerian police force do their job. If you're not satisfied with it, come out with your own different finding. But don't place the cart before the horse. Place the horse before the cart.
Now, when you talk about the security agencies,
yes,
let's x-ray the activities of the security agencies in River State crisis so far, and how well they have fared. Now, first of all, the bombing of River State House of Assembly complex.
Yes.
The police is here to come out with a comprehensive report of finding on what happened. To the extent that the public know, 4 members of the River State House of Assembly were suspended on allegation of the bombing of the River State House of Assembly complex. Now, some persons were arrested, and I am very much aware that some persons were prosecuted, but then after that first arraignment before the courts, that matter is just literally dead.
Like every other matter in
Nigeria. Like every other matter. Now, moving forward to the bombing of the APP secretariat, the police made a public statement and said they were investigating the matter. No feedback up until now. I can go on and on and on. Now, let us come down to the crisis that happened on October 7. I'll use Obiakpo local government as an example. Obiakpo local government fence with the Nigerian police, and for hours that local government secretariat was under siege. It was under attack. The Nigerian police shares a fence with Obiakpo local government. Where was the Nigerian police? The same Nigerian police that was barricading that local government up until that morning when the IGP of police Ebetokon asked them to vacate the local government so that the newly elected chairman can enter. And after that, so one would now wonder, could this be a pointer to the fact that, to a large extent, there is loss of confidence on the efficacy of the Nigerian police force to investigate matters as it concerns the River State crisis, to investigate matters and come up with reports or findings and even prosecute people who have been indicted?
I would say, if you want to put it this way, let's say, one thing I've really come to discover in River State is they seem to make everything play or revolve around politics. The reason I say this is, okay, well, the Nigerian police have not been able to do what they feel they need to do. But what makes the APC feel that even after this finding, anything will come out from that they're finding? Because definitely they are not the ones to persecute whoever. They are always going to call out names, which some persons are now already beginning to feel it's a script being written and being handled by the executive of the APC in Rivers State. So they are going to come out with names that many persons feel, well, yeah, definitely they will going to come out with
Isn't
names.
that what is also playing out with the governor's judicial panel of inquiry? Because, like Chizzy said,
what I'm saying.
The governor had said prior to this time that
is
they
what
are
I'm
not,
saying.
these people
That
are
is
not
what
part
I'm
of
saying. It's a waste of money.
On both sides?
On both sides. I'm not in any political party. But what I am is I'm a Nigerian. And if we keep looking at it, okay, well, let the police be indicted on that. Let us come out to say they did not do their job. But don't do their job for them. Please, let's respect the institutions. Let's respect them. Now, you're coming up with the panel of inquiry, which everybody is already beginning to say, well, we know names that will be mentioned at the end of it. Look at, with respect, but look at the people that are there on the panel. And look at the other side of the APC. And even look at even the governor and others in the PDP. It's already a rancor. And we know names that will definitely come out at the end of it. So for me, I think there's no point doing this. Because at the end, APC will still say the Nigerian police, or PDP will say the Nigerian police is taking side. So even if you come out with this inquiry and you come out with names and that, how are you sure that the police will even effect such arrest? So for me, sorry, it's just a waste. And
to a large extent, in opinion, like I asked Chizzy, do you think this panel of inquiry has any legal backing to it? Is it legal?
It doesn't.
So whatever.
So whatever finding, and the question I want to ask: are they now going to, in law, call evidence, call witnesses, call people to testify, especially from the opposition, especially names they feel are that are susceptible or that they are well involved? Do they have the right to call them? Would they come even if they do? So what am I saying?
Well, is the panel of inquiry, is it binding? Even their summons.
So
it's not binding.
It's not binding. So that's what it brings me. It brings me to what I said initially. It's a waste of time.
Now, we were discussing about on selective governance.
Yeah.
You know, when Nze brought up the issues of the governor having the prerogative to choose what to investigate and what not to investigate in Rivers State. Let's look at governance a bit. To a large extent, how do you think that this whole crisis in Rivers State has affected governance in Rivers State? Considering, by the way, that now there is the issue of Rivers State running without a budget, and considering, of course, that the budget has a lifespan. I mean,
there's almost a lapse.
In fact, it will elapse in a few days. In a few days. And up until now, 2025 budget is yet to be presented. Looking at everything that is on the ground right now, how do you think this has affected governance in Rivers State? A lot of persons say that governance is going on. The governor has come out to say that there has been increased IGR to the tune of over 13 billion as against what was coming in before in Rivers State. Now, these are, I mean, things that have been laid out, but of a truth, what do you think about governance in Rivers State vis-a-vis Rivers State's political crisis?
Now, that's why I said initially that it looks as if Rivers State is net deep into playing politics rather than governance. Now, you asked me how these have affected. Let me just bring up something that is in public space and something that came out yesterday. The National Bureau of Statistics came out yesterday to say that Rivers State is among the states that did not attract any foreign direct inflow in the last 1 year.
Interesting.
Interesting. And this is a state that has the second largest, as it concerns value-added tax. I'm just talking about value-added tax. Because in every way it's explaining what the economy of Rivers State has. And why has that been so? No foreign investment has come into the state because of what is playing out. I will not be a fool to bring my money into a place that is unstable. Now, this is what it means, in case of those that really do not understand. When there's no foreign direct inflow into your state, it means your state is losing job creation, is losing development, is losing respect, not just locally, but internationally. It concerns a heaven for investment. And it means, forget the internally generated revenue. Yes, it's there. But it's also losing all those indices that talks about growth. So what I'm saying is that the Rivers State people are also playing the politics and forgetting the governance. These are for the APC, these are for the APP, these are for the PDP. And at the end, it's the Rivers State people that suffer. So I feel it has greatly affected governance as it concerns the state. And if, forgive my language, if the Rivers State people do not wake up, well, it's just the beginning.
Well, at this point, I will come back to you, Nze, because Nze, you have been of the opinion that governance has been going on in Rivers State, and I want you to marry what is going on once again. And when you talk about governance going on in Rivers State, what sector, what angle are you looking at?
You know, when we talk about governance, it is about reaching the people.
Okay.
Reaching the electorate. Reaching even those who didn't participate in election, but the masses. And in Rivers State, to a large extent, governance is going on. You might say, like you rightly say, that Rivers State is running without budget. But I strongly believe that Rivers State is running with a budget, because it was presented, even though you have your right not to maybe acknowledge a certain group or a certain faction of the legislature. But
who has the right?
I say everybody, each individual. When I say
the governor in this instance.
When I say you.
We are discussing about the governor and governance.
No, governor, you cannot exclude the people from governance. So when you mention governor, you have to look at the people. When you look at the people, you have to look at if we must.
You're saying the people have a right to
choose, to recognize any faction
of Rivers State House of Assembly.
Yeah, because we have two factions now. Right. People have their rights, and it is to the extent to which your right make impact.
So now,
to the governor,
yes,
he recognized the foreman legislature.
We are talking about governance, not.
And he presented his budget to them, and they approved it, and he's using it to run. Yes, we know that this government of Sim Fubara have really experienced a lot of brouhaha, a lot of trouble, a lot of turmoil here and there, and that is why you see that the foreign investors are not coming in. And at first, we cried foul when this trouble began to come. We say, look, Rivers State will lose. The people of Rivers State will lose. And we also advise those who were forming the trouble to calm down, because if you claim you love Rivers State, allow Rivers State to thrive, allow Rivers State to move forward. So I see that as it stands today, governance is ongoing, even though the governor has not really reached to the extent we expected. But you know that Rome is not built in a day. So he has started from somewhere. You see schools being renovated. You see him establishing new ones. You see roads. And as it stands today, he's going to commission new roads that he has built in Rivers State. And people are enjoying. You see from the local government angle, there is governance ongoing.
At the local government.
Yes, I'm just telling you this.
The state local government has its own allocation.
But to a very large extent, the state is influencing the local government.
We are looking at the activities.
If the governor is not on the local government chairman, they might just do what they like. So to a very large extent, the governor Sim Fubara, as he stands today, is doing well.
Okay, he's doing well, and everything you've talked about. On one hand, you said he's doing well. On the other hand, you're defending why governance, to some extent, appears to be stalled in Rivers State. That appears to be
investment, not governance. Not governance. I've not said that, except if you are putting that to me. But I've not said that governance is being stalled. But investment, especially foreign investment. But we see that even the government of Sim Fubara is also initiating investments here and there.
Can you tell me the things that are tied to foreign investment and development in a state? Can you answer that?
Well, to a large extent, if you want me to educate us on that, we may take it up from an angle. One, if there is foreign investment, let's take for instance, tomato producing company comes to Rivers State. It will bring employment to the people in the rural areas. It will bring employment to some expats, people who are good in agriculture development, those who are good in manufacturing, those who will man the plants that will be established and all that. So you see that it is bringing employment. Number two, it will improve market value in Rivers State. Now, if there is any foreign investment coming in the area of cassava processing, it will also affect both the farmers in the rural areas. And these things are not coming because investors are being careful not to put their money in an unstable environment.
While I do not want to, go into so much around the economics of what you have said, the little that you have mentioned, to a large extent, does it trickle down to governance or not?
Yeah.
Well, you've
To a large
answered,
extent.
you've answered the question. Chizzy, what do you make of Rivers State's crisis and governance, and what is the way forward at this point? Because it appears that both factions have refused to meet each other or compromise. And then finally, Chizzy Nze said something that I will also want you to react to when he talked about Rivers people being at liberty to de-recognize a faction of a House of Assembly, including the governor can choose to recognize or de-recognize the House of Assembly and also choose whom to work with.
You know, when we came discussing the APC, in Rivers State, even though I am a stakeholder of the APC, I did come out openly to tell you that what they did was illegal. That's because I'm first a Rivers person before any other thing. Not even the governor have a right to recognize or de-recognize somebody. It is not him. It is the law that says this is the person. And the governor, see, when you're talking about the FDIs, that's the foreign investment. One of the things they look at is governance. Political stability. If you don't find governance, they will not invest. So if you find a state that those people are not coming, it means that there's no governance in that state. It doesn't matter what you feel. In the first instance, the man is stealing. The man is spending stolen money.
Stolen money.
Yes.
How do you mean?
Let me define it.
Yes, please.
Stolen money because the money that is not appropriated for is stolen.
You can't say it's stolen.
Where do you get the money? See, the governor has. Let me tell you, the governor has.
When you say the governor is spending stolen money, number one, the money is not stolen, Chizzy, and by extension, you're calling the governor a thief.
That's what I said.
I'll not let you do that.
You can be spending money you did this thief or somebody stole. So I didn't say he's a thief, but I said the money is stolen.
Where did they steal it?
No, excuse me. Let me tell you why. There are sources of revenue. One is internal generated revenue. And do you know that this internal generated revenue are captured in the budget of the state? And budget is expected expenditure first and before the expenditure itself. Just understand. So that if it is not even captured, if that thing is not captured, it becomes illegal. That's number one.
To spend.
To spend. It becomes illegal to spend. And number two, the governor has a limit of authorization that he can authorize. Which cabinet system sits to authorize that? His cabinet is also not legal. You're telling me they're not.
Because they were not approved
because
by
they were not approved by the assembly. Now look, when a governor lives above board, is when, even if they were all your enemies, assuming that the assemblies were all, I mentioned Lagos in 1991-92, wherein an RC governor was under the, we had SDP assembly versus an RC governor.
Yep.
And then he would go there, they were in court. He was in court with them. But he would go there, present his budget, go there, present his nominees for election. And they were doing that. Now this governor is saying, no, I need to choose my brother. They talk about selective. So he chose somebody from Andoni, Opopo, and Bonny, his own kinsmen. And then they became assembly. He took those people to government house. In the first place, where does the assembly sit? They started sitting in government house. And then he took one to be chief of staff. And so they stayed there, marshal out money, and then they say it's not stolen. Because it's just that's calling it. What is it? A money, if you see, what is misappropriation? What is misappropriation in the first instance? That is even when it's appropriated for. Then imagine when you are spending money that is not appropriated for. What do you mean? So somebody that will come. So you know what we'll do? That is the reason why I said the value system of Nigeria is dying on a daily basis. You see a young girl come to, before when you see a young person come, with a vehicle to your house, the first question will be, how do you make the money? Now, the governor comes to dash you money and he said, then you take it because you don't know whether he makes the money legally or not. So how can anybody, any same person invest in Rivers State when we do not have budget? See, let me tell you, government is the highest grantor of any investment. Government is the highest, including NGOs. NGO investment. Government is the highest grantor. So no person will come and begin to give appendages to someone because it has to go through the house, including borrowing money. So the money was not borrowed. The money was not done. So where are we spending this money? I say governance is going on. What is governance?
Okay, very well.
What is going on is Sim is dressing up, buying clothes for his people and dashing them money. And dashing church's money, including his church. That's why they can dash 200 million to church. Dashing them money.
You can't say that he dashed in this church.
How much did he give to the church?
What did he give to his church?
Yeah.
No, I don't know. Now you have said you don't know, so you just made a statement.
Well, anyway, this is what I said initially that the Rivers people are playing politics with their own future.
I understand.
They are playing politics with their future. A state that is one of the second most viable states in the country as it stands, even not even better than Lagos. I feel if they get their linings right, they will be richer than Lagos. Because look at the lots of lucrative investment that seems to be here. In the whole Niger Delta, Rivers controls it. But they've not been able to get it right because of politics. And if we keep coming here and talking about governance, talking about foreign direct inflows, and the people are not, they are still choosing which camp to sit, which camp to stay, then they are not ready for a change.
Ooh. Michael, very quickly before we round off, you talked about value-added tax, and
Yes.
I appear to be very interested in that. Very quickly, looking at the tax reform bill that is ongoing now, and the fact that going by what is going on in Rivers State, it appears that it will have negative influence on Rivers State. First of all, to a large extent, Lagos, FCT, and Port Harcourt appears to be the greatest beneficiary in the current
and the
VAT
greatest
payment
generators.
system. Yes.
They generate more than any other
Very
state.
well, in the current VAT payment system. However, from how they intend to share the derivation, if this tax bill flies, now it will now move from headquarters to areas of consumption, correct?
Yes. Yeah.
Now, what it means is, to a large extent, what some of the headquarters here, some of these incomes will reduce to a large extent, and then money will now move into other states.
Yeah.
Now, with the FDIs not even coming in right now, considering that to a large extent, if this tax reform bill flies, then our VAT as well in Rivers State will be greatly reduced. How do you see this affecting the economy of Rivers State?
Okay, I beg to differ. And the reason I beg to differ, let's look at it. In 2024, first quarter, Rivers State generated close to 50 billion as in VAT, second highest only after Lagos. Now, with the new tax reform bill, it now gives the federal 10%, the state 55,
and local
the local
government
government 35. Now, what this does, it depends on your derivation. Rivers generate a lot. So we're expecting Rivers to gain a lot. But this is the beauty and why I differ. Now, why I differ, if you look at it, they are now talking about where you generate more, you get more.
Yeah.
That's the idea. And that's why even the northern states are not happy about it. Because you would understand, why would you blame them? A state that do not admire the consumption of alcohol, they prohibit it. But they do. But they want to get value-added tax for it. It's just like, forgive my language, you're done with a woman, as she's going, you're still looking at her backside. It doesn't make any sense.
Right.
But what I'm indirectly saying is, with this new sharing formula, each local government area would now need to do more as it concerns generating income. Industrialization will come, and I feel that will be very helpful to those states or local government that seems not to be viable. Some few local government areas are the one taking Rivers State. They are the one controlling the bill. They are the one encouraging investment. They are the one generating more value-added tax than the others. So it means everybody now has to sit up, bring more industrialization, and work to see what you gain. So for me, I feel it's more of a gain-gain. A win-win for those local government that are doing well, and a beginning for a change for those that are just sleeping.
No, I think, I don't know, but I just wanted to say this, that it's also a threat to us. Let me tell you why it's a threat. You know, in 2000, for instance, Rivers State was almost running about with Lagos. So you could see that our budget, for instance, then was 450 billion naira, and Lagos was about 500 and something billion naira. So it's about 50 billion if you stagger it. Now Lagos is going to trillions, and we are still in billions, right? Now what is that? In then 2000, Larissa, I used to accuse you on air here that maybe you weren't born then. Then 2000, if you notice that you see a Harold, a Harris, and all of that, they're not just names given by, they are names given by certain white fathers, you know, to our people. But that's because if you came to Port Harcourt, then you see a lot of white men. And then by 2003, we started kidnapping the white men. We thought we were kidnapping the white men. We didn't know we were kidnapping our employment, our internally generated revenue. We were kidnapping them. And so while they were moving out, Beggar moved out, other companies, Bata that I went to school with, like you weren't born on the Bata was profiting here, that I went to school with. Then we started kidnapping those Batas and those employments. All of a sudden, if you notice, the highest employment in Rivers State now is politics. That's we're no longer employed. The highest politics now. That's why you see all comers are saying anything. So you can be chairman of a party and begin to do things that no. There are things that you can do. Like you can announce that no, police, please set up this, or government, you must set up this. That's why a lot of people come. But now the threat now is the entire oil and gas section. 80% of our oil and gas industry, those who take off the resources from here, their staff pay tax from Lagos because their head office is in Lagos. So why would they stay here? Because the place is insecure. Because we have not done the things that are right. So even if we are jubilating today that tax is going to bring on more money, that's because we are looking at the natural resources that they must come to the. Sometimes they may take it online, via the other route, and take it from another state. It may be here. So the first thing we need to do is to begin to do the right thing, so that those things, before we now begin to talk about creativity. I am telling you that I wish that one day the government will just announce that no allocation again, so that we begin to see whether you can begin to create wealth in this atmosphere.
All right, very well. As we enter the last lap of this conversation, let's look at Ghana's opposition victory and what PDP has to say to that. People's Democratic Party has described the victory of Ghana's opposition National Democratic Congress candidate, John Mahama, in the December 7, 2024 presidential election as clear evidence of the triumph of the people's will over oppression. In a statement issued on Sunday in Abuja, the National Publicity Secretary of the PDP, Honorable Debo Ologunagba, congratulated the people of Ghana for their resilience in defending democracy, which resulted in the return of the NDC and President Mahama to power. He said, the victory of democracy in the platform of the opposition, NDC, is a clear demonstration of the triumph of the power of the people over misrule and oppressive policies of government, as it now being witnessed in Nigeria under the corrupt, rudderless, and insensitive APC, Ologunagba said. He continued, the verdict of the people of Ghana in this presidential election is a signal to the APC that its days in office are numbered. The power of the people in Nigeria, just like in Ghana, will surely prevail, end APC's oppressive rule, and return Nigeria to the path of good governance, security, political stability, and economic prosperity on the platform of the PDP in 2027. The PDP spokesperson called on the Independent National Electoral Commission and security agencies to ensure the integrity of the electoral process and prevent the manipulation of future elections as seen in 2019 and 2023. Michael, what do you make of this story?
Well, anyway, forgive me again. I'm a bit too raw in my analysis. It's just wishful thinking.
Why do you say that?
Now, let me say this. I am in a country where I get confused. Sometimes before I go on the air, I beg to check which political party someone is. Because as of 12 midnight, he's in the APC. But as of 3 a.m., he's in the PDP. So sometimes I check. And I hope he's still in the PDP. The Honorable
Dabo,
he's still in PDP. Okay, now I can talk.
Yesterday, you can be sure.
Oh, I'm sure. So let's get things right.
Yes.
The political parties in Ghana, they stick to their principles.
Okay.
They have
ideologies.
And they remain with their political parties. They don't cross carpets as we do here. Today I can speak about PDP, at the end I'll be real mockery. But tomorrow I can also speak like Sanusi and I'll be in the APC. What I'm indirectly saying is that's wishful thinking. You should have an ideology. I don't see what's the difference between APC and PDP. You're now saying, oh, except we look at who seems to be ruling. So if you say, Ghana is different from Nigeria in every way. We talk about the politics, the mindset of the people and everything. Ghana, they stand on the ground. The democracy, yes, is there, is thriving. But you should not wish that, the people in Ghana are tired and that's why they choose to bring Mahama back and in Nigeria it will happen. Come on, it doesn't work that way. What are you ready to bring on the table? With all due respect, many persons will even say the crisis in Rivers, the crisis in the PDP is also as a direct result of the presidential candidate in the last general election and the minister of the FCT. If we do not resolve that, I just pity PDP. I pity them because in the 2027 election, they will be in for a shocker.
But then, don't you think that there appears to be a transition in the political ecosystem in Nigeria? Now, you know, prior to this time, in 2019, it was all about the party.
Yes, no.
But in 2023, there appeared to be a transition because people were no more interested in the party, but in the individuals. This was a situation where you see APC, PDP voting for Labour Party. You see PDP working for APC, and you see APC openly working for Labour Party and other parties as it were. Now, there appears to be like a move from political parties to more to individuals. And how do you see that playing out in 2027 presidential
So who is the
election?
individual that will come out for 2027?
Now, that would be the big question.
So that's it.
Considering that PDP is still balkanized and
some persons, with all due respect, are still saying they will come in 2027. Are these persons, are we ready to vote them? Let's not forget what Nigeria stands for. For now, we look at ethnicity as a ground in our elections. Okay. We look at religion as a ground in our elections. Are we ready to get a Northern back? In case the PDP feeds, I'm not saying, in case they do feed a Northern in 2027, are we in the South ready to vote a Northern into power?
But then, you know, Arewa Consultative Forum, their chairman, though he was suspended based on that statement and later recalled, came out to say that the Southwest was ready for a Northern governor. And
oh, so he said.
Yes, so
that's what they also said
and he
in
was
2023.
He was
yes, and I understand why he was suspended on that. He spoke out of order, and many persons are not happy with what he said. But the truth still remains. If you want things to change, look at the players.
All right.
Is anybody ready to put a Northerner as a presidential candidate in the PDP? And are we at the South ready to vote in a Northerner as a presidential candidate, irrespective of what seems to be happening? So let's not remove the dynamics. In Nigerian politics, is based on religion, and ethnicity, and in Ghana is different.
Okay.
For example, now he said it initially. Look at the economic team of this present regime. They all seem to be from a basic ethnic nationality in Nigeria. And that's why the Northerners are kicking. You cannot have a finance minister from the Southwest. You have the CBN governor from the Southwest. You have everybody seems to be stationed there. Why would the Northerners trust you? Are we going to jettison that?
You recall when the president was setting up the committee to look into the local government autonomy situation. I took my time to look at that committee. Most of them were from Southwest. I think if they were like 15, about 12.
Yeah, from the Southwest.
And they were occupying very prominent and sensitive financial positions.
Yes.
Because it was about financial autonomy. So he had to set up a financial team
that would think towards that line.
It was clear when I went through that committee, it was like, I was like, okay, this is more of Southwest. How then is the president employing more of people to hold national positions with regards to the finances? Are there no other good hands in the
That's
north,
the question. So
in the south?
Are we ready to make that change?
So you think this is going to play out in 2027?
It will always play out.
All right.
It will always play out. Ethnicity, the region, and religion.
All right.
That's the three major things.
All right.
Ghana has gotten it right. Nigeria, we're still just battling around it.
All right. Very well. Chizzy, what do you make of PDP stance on Ghana's victory?
Well, let me say this, that is not the first time it's happened in Africa. It happened in Nigeria in 2015, don't forget.
Okay.
But you must look at the indices that brought about those happenings, and you see that those indices are not here today. If you look at the APC, for instance, and I can tell you that since the democracy started, you haven't had any president who has jumped from one political party to another, became president of Nigeria. Not one. Just check. It hasn't happened. That's what people understand. That's because, you know, so the party plays a role, whether you like it or yes. Give it to Tinubu. Tinubu has been in this party because it's just renaming and all of that from when the party started till today he became president, isn't it? Buhari has been in the opposition party, of course, in his party from 2003 till he became president. When he began it was Atiku who named PDP, people deceiving him, because he was in AC. SCN, have you forgotten that? And then he jumped back to PDP, and that was the anger of some persons that after 2019 you left to Dubai and came back to become, and then when you now came, you couldn't handle certain persons very well. You thought they were still boys. These boys had grown. So if you look at what is happening right, it's not just about the person. For instance, one of my reasons when I said Obi with all his ideas and creativity won't go anywhere. I'm a politician. It's not about what you're shouting in social media. It's not about what you are doing there. There are things that makes you win election. So in Nigeria today, the question is who is a fight. The fight will start in who will, even if they come up other in a new political party now, who will become the president. That will be the fight. Who will even, because Atiku is not ready to come step down. Neither is Obi ready to allow Atiku to become. Neither is Amechi. Amechi also wants to be president because you see, age is no longer on their side. So this is like their limit. They just want to just catch up being the president. And it is what, so even if some of us in APC, not me, there are some persons in APC who may not just like APC but do not have alternative somewhere. Because there's no alternative, there's no organization. If there's any seemingly organized party now, it's the APC only. Because no other parties are organized. Labour is going to court against each other. These ones are doing that, the other one are doing that. So you see that what happens here happened in 2015 because of that kind of thing. Now the question is, you just talked about ethnicity, religion, and of course religion that plays a very important role. You remember that I took on the pastor, of course we have discussed that before, and I said, don't wear JC so that we don't offer you on the field. Because if you put on JC, we'll offer you, we'll tell you that this thing is not done like that. While you are there shouting and shouting, election will be happening in your unit and you will fail in your unit. It's not about shouting. But one thing that you must look at this thing is this. If you also look at ethnicity, if you give to Atiku, assuming that the PDP agreed to give to Atiku, now the South will say, oh, Atiku will go and take up their own tongue. The South will not accept that. The South will not accept that. Now if you bring it to Obi, the North will say no. That means Obi would not do 8 years because they will not trust them. So the only person they would have trust is Jonathan, assuming Jonathan is even ready for it. That's the only person because he has legal 4-term. I'm advising them free, which is I'm not supposed to advise them. But they will, you know why I can say it openly on television is because an article will not accept it. The other people will not accept. They still see Jonathan as a small boy, no matter the fact that he was past president. They don't see Jonathan as a big player in politics. So I can tell you that that's the problem they will have. But if they come down, Amachi will say, oh, if Jonathan goes for this president, that will be the problem. If I go to support Jonathan to be president, then he will be 4 years. Then the next 8 years will be the North. That means I won't be president again. So Jonathan must not go. So you see, Obi will say, oh, if Jonathan goes like that, it's no longer. The problem is, look at the Mahama. Look at the times he has stayed to work himself up. Stayed to work himself. Are you saying that there are no people who have messed him up? But he stayed to work himself up. Today he has ripped it. Buhari ripped it. Even though they told us Buhari came with integrity, that we now saw that integrity wasn't there. So, but that took him up because he was there. Persistency is there. And you know, some of us, our value is that when you see somebody who is consistent and persistent. Now look at, and yes, Wike Mayoga has been in PDP for all this while. This is ministerial, this thing is beginning to put a check on him, you know. I just wish he should realize that and know, because right now, yes, Wike would have been the automatic leader of PDP, because I think he has done more work than anybody put together in PDP. That's why you can't just remove him. He's a very powerful stakeholder in the PDP. So he can't do anything there. He's just working. And of course, he don't Wike. He has a way of doing his own thing. When he came, he wanted, even though he was the person who wanted to be minister, Wike wrote to the party, and the party wrote him back to accept. So he will tell you that I wrote the party. Of course, after all, there are some persons who have been under party.
But then there appears to the feud between Atiku and the FCT minister. Both of them appear to be parallel lines that can never cross. And now the board of trustees have come out to say they've met the FCT minister before. It yielded no result, and they said we are going to meet him again in order to see that the mend fences moving into 2027. Now, to a large extent, the danger here in PDP crisis is if this crisis is not resolved, then 2027 presidential ambition will go up in flames.
It is
Don't you think so?
My problem is that, look at the problem now. What is the FCT minister's anger? It is time for the South. Zone it to the South. Allow the South to go with. So are they even ready for that? And Atiku is
Atiku allow that?
Atiku is still
so
showing that
why would you,
he still wants to
so
be president.
The man will say no. Let me support people to complete his 8 years.
That why I said ethnicity, religion,
no
where you
way,
are from,
there is
plays a role.
There's no way. You know, I think we want to be president and use for as vice president.
Now I have mentioned Fubaranze. This is your cue.
I was looking for a trouble.
It's since Fubara's am I Fubara's PA?
That's your cue, go ahead.
Well, I will still leave it there. You know my way. Let's come back to the boss stand. You know, the boy is a friend, and I used to stand with him. But here, I think that I have some level of pity for him, thinking in the direction he has chosen to think. Because you are saying that because of what happened in Ghana, APC will be expecting an end to leadership in Nigeria. You should have comforted yourself, consoled yourself with what happened in Ghana, because what happened in Ghana is what happened in Nigeria in 2015. So I felt that he should have been coming from the angle of self-pity, that we made a mistake somewhere. But in as much as we clap for Ghana for bringing Mahama back, look at the institutions in Ghana. Well-stable institutions. Do we have stable institutions in Nigeria? Look at Ghana, maybe police for integrity mechanism. Look at Ghana, the umpire that conducted the election. How can you match? How can you compare them with Nigeria? Can you compare them with INEC? Can you compare Ghana police with Nigerian police? Can you compare Ghana judiciary with Nigerian judiciary? We've seen in Nigeria where people came out openly for the first time in 2023 and cast their ballot so massively, believing that the electoral act of President Buhari will stand, will do anything for us, believing that the promises of Mahmoud Yakubu, that beavers and all that will work. We believed, we didn't know that we were dealing with liars, people on their word, people without integrity. And we came out, even those who have not voted since they were born, went and got, some slept in INEC offices for days just to get their PVC. And they got this PVC on the day of election. Rain beat people, sun beat people, maimed some, broke people's head and all that. They casted their vote, and these same corrupt evil people in Nigeria rigged the election. And they are now sitting in power and talking to me. Who are they talking to? I see most of these players as people who lack, they have no judgment in their mind, they have no integrity, they have no conscience, they are satanic, they are demonic. In Nigeria. No, hold it. You can't stop me now because you didn't stop my police. Hold on. Do you know why I said that? Do you know why I'm using that word? I am the people's advocate. Nigerians are suffering under this leadership.
You still have to be civil.
Do you know why I have to call this called Satan? You can't call them Satan is a being.
You can't call them satanic.
Satan is not an animal. Treat the same Satan. They will even be happy that I call them satanic. They will say that
I'm in Jamaican, so I understand what it means.
Yes. However, let us look at it. Dabo Neglaba has not really reasoned well to come up with this point. You saying that maybe the PDP you belong will take over from APC. How? Where is PDP today? As I speak with you, the only presidential candidate we have for 2027 as at now is Bola Ahmed Tinubu.
Yes.
Nobody from PDP yet. There is nobody from Labour Party yet. Even the APP of Kwankwaso, nobody yet. NNPP rather.
NNPP. Kwankwaso and Kwankwasia group has been expelled from NNPP.
Okay, that's why I told you. That's why I told you that nobody from there. It is only APC, and this APC is really giving us bitter pills that cures no illness.
Better.
PDP as at when Jonathan was there, as at when Jonathan was there, we were better. Because look at Jonathan as the leader, as at that time was a president with a listening ear. He was a president with a human face. But today we have people who don't care the way you feel, the way you talk. Look at the level of impunity we see. That people will come out to protest and say, please, we are hungry, and somebody in power will say, They will be protesting that they are hungry. We will be here eating rice. And nothing happened. Now look at people came out to say we are protesting. Bad governance. Why people were gathering to protest? The president jetted out to go and enjoy himself. What kind of country is this? And Dabo is coming to tell me that this. Look, evil have been instituted in Nigeria, and unless people like me and maybe that Michael, not you and the cheesy. Yes, unless people like us, we stand our ground and say enough is enough. 27, we have a change. If men of goodwill will stand their ground.
So Cheesy is not a man of goodwill.
He's not a man of goodwill because he always speaks against goodness. So, however, let that be. Let's close today's discussion with that. The truth is not good. He's my friend.
Yeah, the marketing before the public.
No, don't worry, I'll market you later. Look, Nigerians and Nigerian government and those political players should please borrow leave from them. Let Nigerian police force look at themselves. Even though some people are coming to say that Nigerian police force was not created for Nigeria and was not created by Nigeria, but was created for the elites. But they are recruiting people from the grassroots to defend the elites. Let them have good head. They are not called Nigerian police. I was a stakeholder in police. Yeah. They were not called Nigerian police as a police owned by Nigeria, but Nigeria police. Who established them? Look at what they are playing. Now, we come to judiciary. If I speak the way it is in my mind now, you will stop me. But I will not speak. I will not speak.
Please don't.
But judiciary should know that their face has been smeared with slaw.
All right.
In Nigeria. Then coming to INEC, when you want to call somebody, if you tell somebody, thunder, forgive you, he will say you accept and he will forgive you. But if you call that person Mahmoud Yakubu, he will fight you. That is to the extent this name has got rotten, because he headed an umpire that conducted the worst election in a country, and he stays standing today.
All right.
So we beg God to help us. If Nigeria will have anything from what Dabo said, which I know there's no hope from there, except if we will fight from our angle, which I am prepared to do.
Cheesy, go ahead.
You know, when we state facts, people misunderstand us.
Go ahead.
The fact, what we are saying, I'm sure Michael is with me on this. What we are saying is that it is not because of this institution, the police, the INEC, that we're ever saying that. It's because there's no organization in the party itself to present the presidential candidate. You have said so. You have said that the only presidential candidate we have now is Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Because the PDP is not even the Dabo that is speaking, may be coming from a faction of the PDP. You'll be shocked that they also have another
coming from a different
faction of the PDP.
Yes.
Now you see, so it's not just the PDP saying it; it is a faction of the PDP that is saying
that. But sir, let me ask one critical question.
Yes.
The problem in the PDP, would it finish before 2027 election?
That is where
it's supposed, but it may not.
I thought as much, because I have not even seen, when you say something is finished, I have not even seen people coming together
from the body language.
So what are we saying? So why are we not saying?
So that's what I'm saying, that. So it's not because of INEC, because INEC was there. The police force were there in 2015 when an opposition party won. But what we're saying today is that you are not even ready in the first instance to go to do something. Why are you even blaming this situation? It's like somebody
and you are wishing.
And you are wishing. It's like somebody coming here and saying, "No, I'm going to be a graduate in 2014."
When you've not even entered school.
No,
you've not written JAMB.
Nothing.
Why are you still pending?
So
F9.
He is coming from he is not even a member of the PDP by the other faction.
All right.
That's what it means.
All right, very well. Michael, as we round up, what your final thoughts on this?
Well, my thought, especially as it concerns this, is the PDP should first clean house. I cannot go and look for a wife if I don't have the requirement to feed her. I can love a woman, she's fine, I can admire her, but I cannot go and marry if I don't have the money to marry. So PDP should stop wishing. They should stop. It looks as if they are now making us know that we are true Nigerians. We pray more than any other country. But what do we have?
What they have been talked of.
We wish of every other country, but what do we have? We hope. The only things Nigerians have is hope. Hope is what we have. Apart from hope, we don't have any other thing. I keep hoping, and my children have started following me hoping.
That's the worst.
So PDP should just do me a favor, clean house.
But there are talks of a merger.
Talks. Thank God you said talks.
Talks, yes.
And you are taking us back to hope. Let's just in that hopeless situation.
So it's still on the hope.
Yes. Let them clean house.
The merger is not party.
When you clean house, then we'll know you are ready. When you clean house, you bring out a candidate, not an existing candidate that has every election he's there. If you bring out somebody from the south that we will know, because we are not stupid. No Southerner, I'm not being ethnic in any way. No Southerner will give it to a Northerner for another 8 years when we've just done 4 years, whether we are taking T-pain or P-pain. No Southerner will do it. So let them understand that. Clean house, give us a credible candidate we can look and say, okay, we can substitute this for this. Then we're ready. But if they keep doing this, let them wake up. They're still sleeping. And it pains me. It's a nightmare they are sleeping.
All right. Very well. Thank you so much, Michael Gwabadia, for coming. It's a pleasure having you.
Well, thank you so much for having me.
And thank you so much, Shizzy, for coming. It's always a pleasure to us. And this is where we wrap it up on this episode of Open Conversation. We are open for advert placements, bookings, and commercials. You can connect with us on all our ATN socials, Facebook and YouTube, Atlantic Television Network, Instagram and TikTok, Atlantic TV Network 1, and on Twitter, Atlantic TV Net. Watch us live on our website, www.atlanticnetwork.tv. Do not forget, peace and unity are the pathways to progress. Thank you for watching. I am Ogu Laurentia. Transition News comes up next. Do not go away.
Representing people, Mr. President, my people are on the sea.
I will place economic stability and confidence.
To condemn this act, I thought that people like to leave.